Hello and welcome to EURACTIV's Agrifood Podcast. I'm Julia Dam.
And I'm Gerardo Fortuna.
And here's your weekly update on all things agriculture and food in the EU from EURACTIV's Agrifood news team.
This week, the menu of the Agrifish Council, the Organics Award, and Ukrainian bread. And welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast. I hope so. Or favorite Agrifood podcast, let's say.
Favorite podcast. Let's not be humble.
Yeah, indeed. We start a very busy week this week because there's already a bank. You probably listen to us on a Monday morning, the beginning of the week, and actually the main event of this week is is happening right now. Actually, if you're listening to this podcast on Monday morning, of course. Because there's the Agrifish Council, I translate from the EU jargon, is the meeting of the EU 27 agriculture minister. They gathered mostly once a month, either in Brussels or in Luxembourg. Today they're in Brussels. And they're going to talk a bunch of stuff. Julia, it's actually a very busy agenda.
Yeah, it's quite the diverse menu as well. There's lots of very diverse small stuff. One interesting thing that's on the menu definitely is food labeling. So this is quite the divisive topic between member states, and the European Commission is expected to put forth a proposal on that until the end of the year. So I think we can expect some very juicy debates on this from member states.
Yeah, we all know that the main issue is, again, there's a struggle between, let's say, France and Italy on nutritional labeling in particular. France is proposing the Nutri-Score system, which is a labeling system, a color. It's a bit like the traffic light one. In Belgium, I don't know in Germany, but in Belgium it's quite spread. There are several.
In Germany as well.
Yeah.
You go through supermarkets, you see it quite often.
Just for make an example, if you check, and you should, on EURACTIV Agrifood Brief, so our weekly newsletter in your mailbox every Friday, or on EURACTIV website, whenever you want. There's an interesting story from Italy, because the competition authority actually fined a French company. We're talking about a fine of 30,000 euro, and we're talking about the French multinational Regime Ducan, so the dietary products, Ducan diet. Because of the use of Nutri-Score, because the competition authority consider this labeling system an inappropriate method to guide consumer in their food choices. So again, we're talking about an Italian authority taking this quite harsh stance. And likewise, there was last week there was a publication from Safe Food Advocacy Europe, and in this report, one of the many relevant findings are basically considering Nutri-Score not in a positive way. They're actually quite critical. For instance, it doesn't take into consideration natural substances which are beneficial to health, or it doesn't consider the level of processing of the products. This is one of the biggest arguments, or one of the the biggest argument of Italy is they basically saying that it favor ultra processed food. Anyway, it's quite of an interesting topic, also considering this gastro diplomacy, let's say, from Italy, because they're putting together a coalition to stop Nutri-Score for becoming the leading, actually the only one, the EU-wide nutritional labeling. So this is the beginning of the discourse on nutritional labeling. And
see both sides gearing up there.
Yeah, indeed. And what else, Julia? Do you have any other suggestions for our listeners?
Menu suggestions. I'm the agri-food sommelier here. We have a very tasty meeting point coming from Ukraine this time again. Agricultural production in Ukraine is again on the menu, and the EU agriculture ministers will actually be joined by Ukrainian Minister Mykola Zolsky, who's joined them a couple of times now by now. I think by now. And he's supposed to update them on the implementation of transport routes of grain from Ukraine. If you want to find out more on that, we have a very interesting story this week from our colleague Yaroslave Bukhta on how Ukraine exports are going now that seaports are somewhat functioning again.
Yaroslava, who will join us in a while to talk about something, let's say, organic.
You'll hear from her later.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a hint, a clue. It was basically the topic. I wanted to give something mysterious, and I basically,
yeah. Anyway, it's like a subtle hint that wasn't all that subtle. Yeah. So check out her story on agricultural experts if you want to be the most informed person ahead of this agenda point at the Agrifish Council. What I found very, very interesting is that there's also going to be a debate about carnivores in the EU. And this is interesting because it's going to prove a prediction I made true, maybe. Let's see. Because a couple of weeks ago, I posted on Twitter, for those who follow me, for those who don't, please do. Not desperate at all. I posted about a piece of news, which was that Ursula von der Leyen's pony, if you don't know, she's from this kind of, relatively wealthy family in northern Germany, so they have horses and ponies. So one of her ponies was actually killed by a wolf. So I said, look out if if the EU is going to crack down on wolves soon, you're going to know why. So let's see what happens on the carnivores.
I'm fascinated by this story, Julia. I'm really fascinated. I didn't know about von der Leyen's poem. It should be the title of the podcast, technically. But and there's also I'm not as funny as this tiny remark, but there's also another interesting aspect that is going to be treated for the first time with the minister, and it's about the Industrial Emission Directive. The Industrial Emission Directive was presented by the Commission in April, the beginning of April. So it's a proposed legislation. It's not yet signed. And it's basically an aims to reduce harmful emissions coming from industrial installation. You might ask, why are we talking about this in an agriculture policy podcast? Well, in the scope of the revision of this directive, there's the extension not only to cover, for instance, activities like mineral mining and so on, textile production, but also the largest livestock farms in Europe. So they're considered now as agro-industrial installation. If the proposed legislation will be approved as with the wording of the Commission.
I remember they were quite the waves when it was first proposed.
Indeed. You remember correctly, because it's. I remember the former minister of agriculture from France, and he was under the French presidency actually, and he was complaining about this because it's all about the number of. This is a bit complicated because in the directive, or in the proposal from the Commission, this scope will apply to all the industrial farms with more than 150 livestock units. So there's this concept of livestock units, which is theoretical, no? It's basically, it's a reference unit. Technically are equivalent to 150 adult cows or 10,000 laying hens or 500 pigs and so on. So basically, there's a bit of the bone of contention is basically the number, the number of livestock units that will be approved by the EU lawmakers. So I assume that they're going to be a very tough debate, because I think that I think it's actually quite likely that member states are pushing to reduce the livestock units at the minimum. So this is actually, again, this is the beginning of another, like the labeling debate. It's something that is going to become very important, and we're going to touch on this quite often in the months to come. So bear with us and stay tuned for any development on these important dossiers.
Hello, I'm Yaroslave Bukhta, and today we'll go all organic with you. So last week there was a lot of buzz around organic farming because we celebrated the already second EU Organic Day. This day was introduced last year as a part of the action plan for the development of organic production presented by the European Commission in 2021. The logic behind the plan is simple: to raise consumers' awareness about the characteristics and benefits of organic production, push the demand for such products, and stimulate the producers. For this purpose, the action plan includes the launch of annual awards recognizing excellence in the organic value chain. And the first one of these rewards, with a very unexpected name, EU Organic Award, took place on Friday in Brussels. It comprises 8 awards across 7 different categories. They acknowledge different actors along the organic value chain that have developed an excellent, innovative, sustainable and inspiring project, producing real added value for organic production and consumption. We spoke with some of this year's award winners and are now ready to share this innovation inspiration with you. We start with the winner in the category Best Organic Farmer Male.
I'm David. I run Zrno Organic Farm, the oldest organic farm in Croatia. It has about 20 hectares of land, and we have 4 types of production. We have primary crop production, processing, fermented products, a bakery on the farm, and we have an organic restaurant. Over all those 4 types of production, we have over 150 certified organic products. And in this way, we have the opportunity to add a lot of value through all these production stages, and in that way, provide our customers with a great food experience. All the initiatives and efforts of the European Union in general to promote organic, especially with the action plan and the Green New Deal, all of those are helping to grow the organic market. There still needs to be a lot of work done, obviously, especially in terms of educating the consumers and really pushing the application of all these initiatives on a national level.
Another interesting person we talked to is Georg, representing the winner in the category Best Organic Small or Medium Enterprise.
I'm from the company Convenience, and we make good products from food waste. We cooking broth, and we made sauces and other stuff, all organic, and we love.
The Convenience Buy from Germany employs 10 people. It produces handcrafted and organic broths, soups, sauces, spices, and oils with a strong emphasis on sustainable, circular, and innovative production. For example, the company does the processing of invasive species such as crabs. Another interesting initiative is a winner in the category Best Organic Restaurant, Lilla Björs in Sweden. It is an organic farm and restaurant operating under the seed to plate concept. The farm also has a store. An interesting peculiarity is that it's free from fossil fuel. It grows 300 different crops, which helps preserve biodiversity. We managed to talk to the winner's representative about the launch of the business as well as the way it faces challenges.
My name is Alex Vuk and I'm the head chef of Lilla Bjärs, which is actually a farm, an organic farm, where we have a restaurant and a store. And at the restaurant we are serving our vegetables. So the only thing that we serve is basically the things that we produce ourselves.
Oh, how did you come up with this idea?
Well, the thing is that the farm has been open for a long time. It's a family business. In the 97, they chose to be an organic farm, which was very early at that stage, to go the organic way. It grew, and after 2012, we reached a point where we produced more than we can sell. So we built a kitchen just to have somewhere to take care of the vegetables. But it turned out to be a restaurant. So actually the restaurant is in our greenhouse where we also grow some vegetables. And from then we have been developing the restaurant concept. When you have a store yourself and you sell your vegetables, you're not depending on retailers that want to sell your products to the lowest price. So you can sell your products yourself. And with the restaurant, we use the restaurant to be a place where we talk about the importance of organic farming and our products. So it's sort of marketing itself by cooking good food. And these days, the challenges, of course, special situation like we talked about during this day in the world right now with the economy and so on. But I think that people know what organic is. And I think that it's very beneficial in these times, that when you make a choice, you actually make it. But we'll see how it goes with the prices going up, but I think that we can adapt, and we're trying to adapt the whole time, and hopefully this helps.
During the event, we also managed to talk with Krista Schwenk, the president of the European Economic and Social Committee, who highlighted the price advantage organic products may have compared to the regular ones.
The feeling that the world we are living today really shows that it's more difficult to get fertilizers, which is why products from agricultural products which are produced in a normal way, I'd say, become much more expensive than those that are produced by organic farming. And organic farming, therefore, organic products, therefore, have the advantage that they are cheaper, that the gap between the organic farming and the traditionally produced products narrows.
Ulrika Landergren, the NET chair of the Committee of Regions, also emphasized the importance of organic farming development, as well as the local support needed for such production.
I've been here today in this organic award, and it has been tremendous and also very, very interesting. We support local and regional authorities, think it's so important that we get more organic agriculture, and also that we eat more organic food, so we have to produce it. And we can support it as local leaders to get more marketplace for organic food. We can support young farmers, and we can give both technical and financial support. So I think local and regional politicians are important to gain more organic food.
Such reward events are important as they both show the customers the perks of buying organic foods, the added value they help to tell the story of the enterprises and organic farmers, and they also share best practices and may inspire more farms to turn to the organic side. We close this roundup on the organic production with the words of Eduardo Cuoco, the director of the EU Organic Trade Association, IFOAM.
We have the objective to reach 25% organic land. This objective can only be reached if we cooperate all together and we share how to reach success with organic farming. Said so, today is also a very important day because it gives us the possibility to have a look on how we are developing and implementing European Action Plan. This is a very important tool that the Commission has put in place for the development of organic farming, and we need to make sure and take a stock on what is happening about that. So how the different actions of the action plan are being implemented through the European Commission's policy, but also through the Member States' commitment and through our own commitment as a sector. So I'm glad that we had the possibility to discuss this today. I'm looking forward already to the next European Organic Day in 2023 and to start promoting again the call for European Organic Awards. And I hope that we will have even more farmers, processors, traders, retailers, restaurants joining these awards so that we can have more and more best practices to be shared in Europe.
So I'm here at the Terra Madre conference in Turin in northern Italy, and as you can hear, there's a lot going on around me. It is a huge conference, a food festival, celebrating everything that's sustainable, with a very strong focus on local, and it's really quite impressive. It's the first time I've ever come here, but there are thousands of people here coming to learn about food, where it comes from, how it's produced, and how to consume more sustainably. So it's a very, very interesting festival. There's a lot going on, and as you can imagine, there are all kinds of flavors I could dip into for this week's flavor of the week. So let's find out which one I've gone for.
Hi, my name is Sonia. I'm from Ukraine, and here at Terra Madre, yes, we're presenting Slow Food Ukraine.
It's a very impressive stand, and we're actually standing here in front of some very intricate looking breads. They look very interesting. Sonia, if you could tell us a little bit about the bread that I'm looking at right now.
Yes, we have here a variety of Ukrainian national breads, and the most interesting here, in my opinion, is the Ukrainian wedding loaf, which is called korovai. And it was actually used instead of cake at the wedding, and parents used to welcome the newlyweds with this type of bread. And this bread, it is made of buttery wheat dough, which is used especially for these types of bread. It can be from 1 to 5 or even 6 levels in height.
Wow.
Yes, and it is usually decorated with various dough figures. For example, a lot of bread, this wedding bread is decorated with dough flowers, and so that newlyweds will have children. Or it could be oak leaves for good health. And each region has its own nuances of interpretation of these symbols, of these dough figures. And actually, one more interesting thing, that the main woman who baked the bread, was supposed to be happy and have a strong family. And this bread was made by 5 or 7 or 9 or even 12 women together. Yes, without the youngest, so they had to be married, and all had the positive, this energy of the family, of the good, strong family. But during the Soviet Union, this tradition disappeared because everything Ukrainian was destroyed, and this wedding cake was only in the villages, in the small villages. But now it's gradually reviving, and especially after the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, young people are becoming interested and want to have this type of wedding cake instead of a normal cake at their weddings.
It's so nice. The tradition's coming back.
Yes.
And it
yes,
should, because
finally.
it's so beautiful. It's such
Very
a beautiful.
yes. Especially when it's decorated with this small, pieces of flowers, of tree leaves. It's like an art.
Yeah, it really is. And we have some very nice music in the background as well to accompany this. Is
Ukrainian singer.
That's all from us this week. This week, the Agrifood Podcast was produced by EURACTIV's Agrifood news team, Giada Fortuna, Natasha Foot, Yaroslave Bukhta and Julia Dam, with the technical support of Abby Chiori. This podcast is also available on all major streaming platforms, including Apple, Amazon, Spotify and Stitcher.
And be sure to subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss the latest agriculture news from the EU. I'm Gerardo Fortuna, thanks for listening and see you next week.